This video is for Windfall Classic Basic Setup. So the first step is to click on the Windfall Warehouse Management icon. Windfall's icon looks like a barcode with a line across it. So you double click it to open. This will bring in the login screen. Up at the top, it will tell you Windfall Warehouse and Inventory Systems 4.0.18. 4.0.18 is our latest version of the software, so if you have a different version of the software, that is fine as well. You just may see some things in the training videos that do not apply to the version that you currently have. If you wish to upgrade to the latest version, you can just contact our support team and we can upgrade it for you. Our support email is support@assetcontrols.com, or you can call our support line at 314-925-1547. You can contact us and we can upgrade Windfall for you to whichever version, this latest version or a version higher than you're at right now. So if you are ever confused at what version you are working in, just open up the icon, the Windfall icon, and it will tell you at the top. Once you're at the login screen, you will need to log into Windfall. Now you will log in with your user ID and password that you're assigned or that you create, and if this is the first time you're accessing Windfall, you will need to log in with the user ID system and the password mover, M-O-V-E-R. If this is your first installation of Windfall, you will also see this once you log in the first time you open Windfall. It's called the Profile Sharing Information screen. You will need to fill out all the information on this screen before you can go any further in Windfall. And I will explain later within the software what profile sharing information is. But as you can see at the top here, it states a little bit about it. It says, before processing in Windfall, you are required to enter your company information into the text boxes below. You will then receive a 10-digit number which you will use to obtain customer information from Windfall users in other locations. So I will go into more depth about what profile sharing is once we get into the software, but for now you will have to fill out all these, every line within this box. You can't skip any. So you'll want to fill out your company name, your address, your city, state, zip code, the primary contact. You can put anyone in there that you'd like, and the phone number. That also has to be included. Also, when you do the phone numbers, please do not put any dashes in between each number. Then once you are finished completing out this box, you just click submit, and once you click submit, it'll take a couple minutes to process, and then a 10-digit number will appear on the screen. That is called your profile sharing number. You do not have to write that down, but you can if you like. It is also stored in Windfall, and I will show you another way to access that number if you do not need to write it down or you lose it or whatnot. So after you hit submit, then Windfall will open up here. This is the login screen, or the after the login screen, excuse me. This is the Windfall screen that you will see once you're in Windfall. Up at the top here, it says Windfall Warehouse and Inventory System Database AMI Training. Now, you will also see the database name of your database at the top here. So if you have multiple databases and you switch in between them, you can always check to make sure which database you're in based on what it says at the top. In Windfall, you have to follow certain steps on basic setup. Once these steps are completed, you can continually use the program in and out daily and not follow these steps every time. It's just a basic steps setup in the beginning. So if this is the first time you're using Windfall or your first installation, these are the steps you need to follow before you can use Windfall. Now the first step is you have to create an agent code and a warehouse code in order to receive any inventory into the system, deliver inventory, create customers, anything like that. You will want to create an agent code and a warehouse code. And to do so, to access those, you click on Tools, Configure, Agents. So this is, as you can see, in every grid within Windfall, it says what you're in at the top here. So next to the little barcode icon, you can see it says agent information. So this is the first step. You have to create an agent code. Now in Windfall, whenever you want to create something new, you have to hit the white page to add new. The white page is up here. So you click the white page to add new. That makes the screen yellow. So whenever fields are yellow within Windfall, you're creating something new in the software. If it's white and you're creating anything or typing anything, you're editing the software. Yellow means new, white is editing. So we need to put in an agent code here first. So if you have an agent code for your company, this is where you would put it in. And we're going to just use for this scenario 456. If you do not have an agent code or unfamiliar with what I'm talking about, you can use any type of numeric or alpha characters. Sometimes people use their addresses, sometimes people just use the name of their company, maybe street name the warehouse is located on. It can be any of those things, but as long as you have something in this field, then you're set. Agent code is the only required field to fill out on the screen, but all those other fields are there for you to access and enter information. It is imperative within the software that the more information you put into it, the better off you are. So the more things you can run reports on. The more data you put into the software, the easier it is for you to use it. So you can run reports based on the data you enter. You can search for things based on the data you enter. So if you don't put it in, you can't find it later. So you can't run reports based on contacts, van lines, things like that. So I always suggest the more data, the better. So we have the agent code. We'll put our agent name in, nickname, van line, address, city, state, zip code, country. Once again, all of that is not required, but I think you'll hear me say often, the more information, the better. Contact information. Now, these are two contacts for this agent information. So anyone you may want to put in here that relates to this agent code, you can. And once you're finished filling out all the information, you must save. The save is located up here. This is the save icon. So you just click save. And now it's in white, and you can see that it's saved, and you can edit it and come back, change it, modify it, whatever. In Windfall, once you put something in the system, you can always modify it, go back to it, change it, update it. So just remember, you can always go back if you don't have all the information in your hands at the time that you're filling out this. So we added the agent code, so we can close this out. Now we need to add the warehouse code. To add the warehouse code, you click on Tools, Configure, Warehouses. As you can see, here's our little barcode, and it says warehouse. Once again, anytime you want to add something new into Windfall, you hit the white page to add new. That makes it yellow, and then we'll put our warehouse code in. Warehouse code 1. And then you also must select the agent code. Now, those are the only two fields required in this screen, but like I said before, the more data you put into the software, the better off you are. Also, if you have multiple warehouse codes and you only have a license for one warehouse code, my suggestion would be to just, again, name it possibly the street name the warehouse codes are on, maybe the name of your company, or something else significant to represent all your warehouses. If you only purchase one license, you only get one said warehouse code. I will show you later on in different videos how you can what we call smart code locations. So if you have multiple warehouse codes and just one license for one warehouse, it's a cost-effective way to separate your warehouses without having to purchase another warehouse license. So I'll show you how to smart code locations later representing different warehouse codes. But if you only have one warehouse license and you have multiple warehouses, I would just name my warehouse code something that relates to both warehouses. So as you can see here, as you move down, it asks for description, address, address to, city, state, zip code, country, and then here you can enter in the square footage of the entire warehouse or warehouses, depending on how many warehouses you have. Over here is ship to information, contact information. Once again, you can fill this out if you'd like. You don't have to if you don't. So it's yellow, so we need to save. So we click the save icon. Also, Windfall is very similar to Microsoft, so using your keyboard and using Control S will also work for save. But if you just want to click the save icon at the top, you can. Or you can save by clicking File, Save. So those are 3 ways to save. Control S, File, Save, or just clicking on the little save icon up here. So once you're finished filling out your warehouse information, you can close that screen there. So those are the first 2 steps you need to do before you can move forward in the software. Create the agent code and the warehouse code. You'll also see where those 2 items are relevant in the scanner as well. The next thing I want to cover is what we call security administration. What security administration is setting up users for the Windfall software as well as the Windfall scanner. So security administration is located under Tools, Security Administration. Also, once again, you can see at the top, you're in Security Maintenance. That is the screen you're in right here. You'll see consistently throughout the software, if you're ever wondering, once you open a bunch of tabs in Windfall or a bunch of screens, what screen you're currently working in, it says at the top. Here is where we're going to create usernames and passwords. Each username and password must be at least 5 characters, no more than 10. So you click Add User, and then you enter the user ID. Click OK. Then you will enter the password. The password as well has to be at least 5 characters, no more than 10. So we put in our password. Then it makes you confirm the password again. Then down below, we're going to see what rights we want to give each user. Security administration, if you give this user security administration rights, that means they have full rights to the entire software. They can create, and they can also create usernames and passwords. Scanner access, if you want to give this user scanner access, then you must check this box. Depending on the user, some companies just give specific user scanner access and nothing else if they just want them to log into the scanner. The user ID and password that you create in Windfall here, that user ID and password will get them into the Windfall software on the computer as well as the Windfall software on the scanner. So they'll use the same username and password for the software on the computer as they do for the scanner. Billing login, you can ignore this here. This is for a billing module that we have that we no longer carry. Some of our customers still use this billing software that we used to sell, but we do not sell it any longer, so you can just ignore this billing login here. Inventory history editing, if you check this box, this means this user can edit history. So within Windfall, anytime you bring something into the software, whether it be through the scanner or through the interface, which is the computer's portion, it tracks a date and time. So anytime you do an in, a move, or an out in the software will stamp the date and time you're doing that activity. So if you give this user rights to edit history, that means they'll have the rights to edit the date and time within the software. Work order service code editing. This gives this user the availability to edit service codes for work orders. And once we get into the software a little more, I'll go over what service codes are. But that will give them the capability to edit service codes. Over here to the right, we have display permissions. View and edit. View gives them the capability to log into the software and just be able to see these tabs. Edit gives them the capability to edit whatever is in these tabs, such as add it, delete it, change it, modify it, whatnot. And each one of these fields are a field within the software. And we haven't covered these yet, but there's the agent code, except the agent code, we did do that one. So if you want them to have the capability to view everything, you double click the word view and it checks all boxes. If you want them to have the capability to edit everything, you double click the word edit and it checks all boxes. So you can also say, I don't want them to have the capability to edit agent. So I can uncheck agent. So that means they can't go into the agent and change it. Cost centers, customer configuration, customer order, and so on and so forth. And we'll go through each one of these tabs throughout the software, but that's what it means for when you want to edit or view something specific in each one of these tabs. So once you're finished filling out all your rights, you just hit apply changes. So that user, it now appears in the drop-down list. You can also delete the user system, the one that I showed you how to log in originally with, out of here by highlighting it and selecting delete user, if you ever want to get rid of that as well. Or any other users. You just highlight the user, hit delete user, and that will take them out of the system. So they no longer can log into the scanner or the software. So once you're finished with security and maintenance, you just hit close. So that's how you set up usernames and passwords. And once again, that same username and password is the same for Windfall as it is for the scanner. No less than 5 characters, no more than 10, and it is not case sensitive. Okay, moving on, we're going to talk about customers.